Hello, artists. I am going to show you the next step. Actually, me and my daughter Greta are going to show you the next step of adding color to your family portrait. So this is my family portrait, and I have just outlined all of my family members and the couch. So you can see this dark line that's around the couch and also around the family members for my family portrait. That's just so that you don't lose the details of your family members when you start coloring. And you can see Greta is just going to town here with blue, and Greta, what are you doing? You're going to draw blue on the couch?
Yes.
Okay, so she's drawing blue on the couch, and then also it looks like coloring our legs blue too. Well, that's great. So you can go ahead, if you haven't added color to your family portrait yet, you can use crayons, you could use markers, you could use colored pencils, whatever you'd like to use after you make that outline to color in your family portrait. So I'm going to pause this. We're going to get it all colored in, just all the people and the furniture. So if you put anything else besides the people into your picture, I would like you to color in those people and also color in any of the objects that you drew. And then we're going to do the background in a different way. And I'm going to show you a few different collage techniques that you can use for that. Okay, so we'll be back in in a second, but in a couple minutes for us. Okay, artists, so here is our family portrait. It's all colored in, but as you can see, we still have all of this white space in the background. So that's the part that we are going to be making collaging on. So for this part, yes, we're gonna use some of those. Yes, we are. Okay. So for this part, you're going to need to get some colored paper. I hope that you have some colored paper. If you don't have colored paper, you can look around and just find some random pieces of color paper or any kind of paper with patterns on it. So I'm going to get some different examples of that, and then you can decide and look for whatever it is that you might have around the house, okay? Okay, so here's what I was able to find around the house that is just things I can use for collage. So I found this it's a catalog for art supplies. So I saw these beautiful colors on the front. I'm going to be using some of that. I found some pictures from magazines. This one has lots of red on it. This one has some purples and blues. I found this random piece of purple paper. I found some old paintings. Those will be fun. And then I have lots of color paper. You may or may not have that, but just go around and find as many pieces of colored paper as you can. The next thing that we're going to do is actually rip this up into smaller pieces. And there's two ways that you can do it. So I'm going to show you those two different ways. I'm going to start by ripping up some of it smaller anyway and cutting some of it. So at this point you can get some scissors. So here I have started by ripping up some of it smaller anyway and cutting some of it. So at this point you can get some scissors. So here I have started to rip up some of this very colorful painted paper that we have here. And as you can see, I'm kind of ripping it up just to see how much I'm going to need for this section. So I'm going to cover from where, probably about here, just imagining that this is a wall behind my family members and also behind the couch, to about here. So I'm going to keep ripping up the paper to go into my background, and then I'm going to do a different color for down here and probably rip that too. And then for some of the shapes that are in my people, not their heads really, because I want those details to stay, but the shirts and pants, I'm going to cut out some shapes of colored paper to go into those shapes. And the coloring that I already did for those is just going to be helpful for me as a reference for what kinds of colors I'd like to use. And it also helps to define those shapes better. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that next part. So I have mine filled in a little bit more, and I just want to show you that one thing you want to do as you're filling in your collage pieces is to fit it around those different people and objects that are in your space. So don't, that was the other reason to make these lines, is that then you can really see what shape will fit the best next to those objects and people. Once you've started to put those on, you want to get yourself a glue stick, or you can use regular glue. So I'm going to get my glue stick and show you, once you've got lots of pieces ready to go, how to glue them down. All right, so here I am doing this so that it's a lot easier. I don't have to do each individual piece of paper, and I'm putting, now you can really see this well because it's purple glue stick. Love my purple glue stick. So you want to put that purple glue stick and put it down on your paper in advance of doing your shapes, and then you can take your shapes, put them right down, and they stick right away. So you don't have to do each individual one. You just put the glue down once you've got enough different shapes to cut out that are all cut out or ripped, and then just glue them right directly onto those spots. So I'm going to do a little bit more and we'll be back. All right, so here is all of my background filled in. So the next part I'm going to do is a different color to go from here down, because I'm thinking that that's more like the floor. And you, in your pictures, you might have something that's kind of your background and something else that's the ground. It could be sky and grass. It could be the floor and the wall, like mine. It could also just be, I don't know, you could have a river in yours, or some kind of like rock or something like that. So whatever is in your surroundings. So I'm going to keep doing the same thing down here, and then I will show you my last part, which is filling in some of those specific shapes. I'm not doing the whole thing, just a few of those things. Okay, so we'll be back. So here is my purple. I really like this dark purple. I'm going to use that for my floor. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same process that I did for this, and we'll be back in a second once you can see what it looks like. So here is my progress. I've got my whole background filled in. Now the next part's going to be a little different if you're doing tearing, because for this part you're going to want to have specific shapes. So the best way to do that is to find pieces that are close to the shape that you need. So to find a piece that is going to be a little bit bigger, so you kind of want to compare, so that's too small, right? You want to take some pieces and find something that's a little bigger than the shape that you need, so that you can cut it out the way that it needs to go. So I'm going to go ahead and find something that's going to work for, I'm going to start with that because it's a very specific shape, and then I'll be back in a sec. So I found this shape of color paper, which is a bit bigger, and what I'm going to do is just put it over that spot. I'm going to cut it down a little bit just to be as close as possible to the original shape, and then I'm going to go in and draw that section again, just the shirt, on top of this, so that I can then cut that more precisely. So I'm going to go ahead, cut it down a little bit, and then we'll be back to show you the drawing part. Right, so there I have it, fairly close to the size and shapes that I'm going to need there. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually just draw with a pencil first, and then outline it in Sharpie, so that I'm happy again with how it looks. And I can actually take this up, compare it to the object that I'm going to be redrawing, and then remove it and then put it back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that drawing part based on what I've got there. So here is my outlined shirt. I'm going to cut that out more precisely and just put it in place here. And I'm going to just do the rest of this, and I'll come back because I just need to show you that process. So I'll just do the rest, and we'll come back and show you the finished thing. So here's the shirt, and you're going to want to notice that not only did I cut around the shape of the shirt so that the arms could come back out, but I also made sure that this piece of furniture that hypothetically he'd be standing in back of has that line appearing again too. So now I'm just going to do more of that, and I'll let you see the last piece. Here is my finished family collage picture. So I am hoping that you enjoyed this project, and please, as always, send me your finished work so that I can post it. And as you might have noticed, I'm putting a lot of these on photo albums online right now because I wanted everyone to be able to see the projects together. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.